Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Astrological Intentions. I am your host, Alex Reevy, bringing the stars down to you. And here with me in Evanston, the eclectic enchanter herself, Sandy Reevy.
That sounds woo-woo. I'll take it.
And it is episode 108, August 17th, 2020. Let's get right into it. In the transits we have coming up, Mercury trine Mars.
Well, that's today. Write the planned route.
Mercury cazimi the sun.
Play games, don't forget.
Tuesday, August 18th, Venus sextile Uranus.
My favorite day, strike the match.
Same day, Tuesday, new moon in Leo.
Have you ever heard of a black moon?
Wednesday, August 19th, Mercury ingress Virgo.
Home at last.
And Saturday, August 22nd, Sun ingress Leo.
Happy birthday, Virgos changeables.
Then in Talisman time, Sandy has finished up 3 talismans to claim victory, to make a positive influence on others, to rise to the top through freedom and movement. Then 3 upcoming to receive recognition, to strengthen private friendships, and to strengthen health. Then on the horizon, we have many online events coming for you. Stay tuned for those. And in our house, Sandy and I are going to talk about planets and politics. So stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions. In the search ends here, where the night is totally clear, and your heart is fierce, and so you finally know you control where you go. Hello, eclectic enchanter.
Now, what am I wearing? What should I be wearing with that? That sounds
something definitely
magical.
Flowy.
Yeah.
It has to be flowy, kind of like white, because you're a white light type of person. Yeah, it needs to be beautiful, of course.
Sounds like I have bells coming from everywhere. I've got a turban with a brooch. I got it.
Okay, you could do that too. So it is episode 108. So this is kind of a cool number.
I love it. It's a very magical, sacred number.
And maybe we should talk more about that, because I now have 108 nicknames for you that are all alliterated.
How do you come up with those?
It usually is just at the top of my head. I think about something that either you and I, like the first time you drove after quarantine, and like those different things. And all of a sudden it's like, you know, what did I call you? The happiest hermit, because you love staying at home. You're very content with your work and what you do, and you're passionate about it, that you like wake up every day being like, let's get this day started. So yeah, it's cool. So
it's been fun to listen. That's the one thing that's not on our notes.
I know. So we'll spring it on you. We'll see if it works. So let's go direct to you all listeners. Thank you so much for sending in your feedback, your reviews, and just your responses to us. We did actually get last week. I'll have 2 going directs for you, because one, last week we talked about our like nighttime turn downs or our nighttime rituals. Right. And a friend of ours, Sherry, responded back and she goes, "Oh goodness, I loved this episode. I want to come to the nighttime turn down rituals, of course." Plus, you have learned about the famous and scrumptious tomato pie. It is one of my favorites. Take great care and know that you are loved, my friends, Sherry.
Aw.
So that was just so nice. I love receiving those emails. So please, please, please send more.
And actually, that's the other thing that you keep hidden from me until
Yeah.
the podcast. So they're
Yes.
always, this first part of the podcast for me is like
A surprise.
yeah, let me hear what's going on.
No, it's
Right?
fun
Yeah.
because I always do have it in my back pocket. You've never really heard them before.
No.
But the other one that I have is from Vicky. She says she's describing her quarterly readings with you. Mm-hmm. And she says informative and uplifting. Sandy provided a great deal of information and insight about what the next 3 months had in store for me and the country. It's all very interesting and certainly helps one see the interweavings of the natural world and its relationship to human life. So really, really interesting. I mean, like, that's deep when you talk about, she was able to integrate not only her own personal journey, but with humanity as well.
Well, and she can.
Right.
She's on her, I don't know what number book.
Ooh.
But she's able, she had this, this planned to do, and then COVID hit. And so she's in. She's in like Flynn. She is another one of those happy hermits because
Nice.
she is dissecting. So, she has time on her side for not being rushed and hurried. That, and I really want to kind of say that because we're in this pause.
Right.
And we're going to be in it till the end of the year. And then once that occurs, the end of the year, I want when we look back on 2020, this hindsight to say, I shoulda, woulda, coulda, right? Because there's plenty of information to gather. I'm back in school.
There's things to do.
There is things that you don't have time. You never had time or said you never had time. Well, if that was a true reason, then get to it. And
right.
you might be to it.
And a lot of people, I think, are. Right.
But if you aren't, then literally that is your excuse.
And jump
and
on
it will always
it'll always
be your excuse.
Yeah, of course.
So if you're not into something that has been on your back burner for a while, get rid of it.
Right.
I've been telling people, in my quarterlies or my monthlies, it's like, those clothes you thought you were going to wear, you're probably not going to wear them this year.
Yeah. And it is about letting go. It's about, and not necessarily just about weight. I mean, we don't have to have it turn towards that, but just in general, it's like, if you do have that easel up that you're like, okay, I'm going to get to that blank cabinet soon, or the book that you've always wanted to write that is just not writing itself, and I definitely have those projects as well, for sure, which I've been dabbling in little by little. So anyway, let's move into the transits. Thank you, everybody, for your feedback. We love this. Keep sending more. And moving on into the transits. We have today, Monday, August 17th, we start with Mercury trine Mars.
So this happens, right after midnight. So if you're listening to this brand new podcast that comes out on Monday morning, then this has already occurred. Write the planned route. And it's like this treasure map. Maybe you just draw it. Maybe you don't write the outline of it, but you just draw this, treasure map. And it can have squiggly lines because you have to go around mountains and you have to climb over bridges and go through water. It'll give you clues to what direction you started out to achieve. And, you might need to pack reminders because as we move further through the year, this Mars starts to retrograde and we may lose sight of our direction. So if we've had this written map, and I like the idea of, taking a pen and a piece of paper and taking yourself on a route. And, one thing you are not allowed to do is to go straight up, because it's not going to be a straight line.
Right.
So take some jigs and jags and swoops and squiggles, and with every once in a while putting the marks of arrow. This is the route you're going. This is the route you're going. And then, putting in a pause, putting in some sort of benchmark or, like a rest period, because there's squiggly cues going on this year. Right.
Seriously.
There is no straight shot.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, the next same day, but the next transit is Mercury cazimi the Sun. And we talked a little bit about these two last week, and I liked this one because it says, don't forget the games.
if you can get clear on the path, you got to make it fun.
Yeah.
Right. So, if you're out looking for a treasure map, there's excitement.
And it's the anticipation, and
it's like, will we find it?
Right.
What is there?
Mm-hmm.
Will we make it there before other people? And trust me, it is your individual private treasure map. So no one is going after your treasure. So keep that in mind.
Right.
But the anticipation of having people help you, having a direction,
and finding clues around the way.
What do you want to find here at the end? And so this cazimi, the sun, any planet that is moving into the interior within, really, it's a 17 solar arc minutes, which is pretty tight. It's pretty tight, but yet when we look at the time frame, it ends up to be about 7 to 9 hours of the day, and it happens pretty much all day on Monday. The 17th, mm-hmm. if you're listening to it today. So you would get really clear on that excitement because you've written your plan already, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
you're ready to go.
So like pack up, and this is where I give you the challenge. I mentioned last week about the challenge of what my dad would say is last one in the pool was a rotten egg. Mm-hmm. Well, we're not going to be rotten eggs, Dad. But it wasn't about that. It wasn't about the literal movement of it. It's like, okay, I'm going to hurry.
It's a little competitive edge, or it's like, humorous and making fun of yourself, or it's being silly, or just finding something, even if you're sorting beans, it's like find it and make it a game, or
mm-hmm. and it makes it less frightening, because if you think about and I can remember my brother, I'm sorry, I
want to hear this. I'm so intrigued.
It was my brother Greg who hated this game because he hated cold water.
Oh.
And I don't know who loves cold water, but it would be, if you could get into the pool the fastest, he was never ever won.
Oh, he wanted to test out the water?
Well, no, he would just be over in the blanket, waiting until maybe he got so hot under the blanket and moseyed in. But the rest of us 3 kids, including my dad, maybe not my mom so much, is like, hurry, get your bathing suit on and get out and jump in as fast. And there became this anticipation, because you can't jump from the pool, from the car to the pool.
Right.
You had to go in, you had to
mm-hmm.
unpack, you had to claim your bed, how many people do you want to sleep with in the bed? Because there were 4 kids and a mom and dad in a one room motel.
Wow. That's a lot of kids, actually. When you think about
it. We did this every month during the summer, every year.
That's wonderful.
So it's that kind of thing. Make it anticipation. You won't always win, but you still got there.
Yeah. It keeps you streamlined and focused. I have to make sure I know where my bathing suit is. And you got to think about all of the little tasks that you have to do. So, well, the next day is your favorite day, which is really cool. Tuesday, August 18th, Venus sextile Uranus.
So, and I want to mention here that, Uranus went retrograde 3 days ago, and strike the match. Now, Uranus, the planet of sudden, unexpected change, for better or for ill, is in the sign of Taurus. Well, what rules Taurus, Alex?
What rules Taurus?
Uh-huh.
Venus.
And Venus is sextile to the sign Uranus in Taurus. So it's like the planet Uranus is visiting at Taurus's house. Mm-hmm. And Venus, the ruler, the owner of that house, is not there. But she's sending messages in this placement to say, hey, do anything you like. You can have anything in the cabinets. You can have anything in the closets. I'll send in food. I'll send in beautiful things. So Venus is very strong here because she can engage with the surprise in her sign. So she's in charge because she's the ruler. She's stronger. She's not retrograde. And she is being visited by Uranus. Mm-hmm. So
And I liked what you called this. You called this strike the match.
Yeah, so if there's something that you desire, that you want to connect with, and that you recently ran into, remember, Uranus is backing up over territory it's already paved. Mm-hmm. So anything that has come in the last few months, go back and do it, or continue in it to follow through. Yeah, so it's like strike while the iron's hot. Is that what they say?
Yeah. Well, and also I really liked this because strike the match is just it's a great image because you kind of like have the grit and you have the quickness about something that it ignites something within ourselves. And what this reminded me of is when I was writing the description on the website about the Venus and Taurus Mala and Bracelet set that we are unveiling as of now, which you'll hear more about in On the Horizon. But it was really an ignition of taking pride and value in our beauty. And I think that is striking a match because it's getting through the grit of the things that we don't like to look at or we don't find beautiful and turning that into a flame. I really liked that. So yeah, well, still your favorite day, Tuesday, August 18th.
Yeah, it's my favorite day. It's kind of a energized, put that match
to the fire, to the tinder.
To the tinder, to the wick.
And so we have a new moon in Leo as well on the same day, and you're calling it the black moon.
Have you ever heard of the black moon?
No, I have not.
Well, sit back.
Okay.
Let me tell you.
Sweet.
This is at 9:42 p.m. here in Chicago. Let's just get a view of a black moon. It's pretty, I think, amazing. They're rare. They happen about every 32 months. Now, the black moon is described as the third new moon. Okay, we're familiar with blue moons, which are 2 full moons in a month period. A black moon is the third new moon in a season where we would have 4. Now, that's unusual because, that's unusual because typically a season is 3 months. And in that 3 months, we would have 3 new moons, typically, right? We would have 3 full moons, typically, right?
Okay.
So this season we're going to get 4.
Oh.
We're going to get 4 new moons. So it's not a blue moon, it's a black moon. And it's the third new moon of 4.
Okay.
Right? So it's that like extra one. Right, that got
the bonus
snuck in there in between. And what is funny, because do you want to know how the name came about?
Oh, of course.
Okay. So the almanackers,
okay, the writers of it,
people that would write these, and this is back in, I don't know, the 1700s. I really should do that research. Okay. I wish we had Aaron here, our producer, who would be like ching, 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 and finding that out. But we're still in COVID mess.
Yes.
So we've built our own studio in our sanctuary. But the almanackers would put a black dot to symbolize this black moon.
Oh.
And in doing
just the black moon or just new moons in general?
Well, the new moon that was extra.
Oh.
So that's how it got the black moon. It was a black dot.
Okay. Interesting. So we also have 2 more transits this week.
But I want to talk one more thing.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Because surprise, you don't know some things I want to say.
Let's hear it.
The last black moon we had was August of 2017. And the next one we're going to get is May of 2023.
Okay.
That's all.
Well, I mean, I think we have more often blue moons than that, right?
I believe we do.
Interesting
Aaron,
stuff.
where are you?
Okay, so Wednesday, August 19th.
And I want to tell one more thing.
Oh my goodness. Okay, go ahead.
And this is said to bring cleansing energy that brings things up from that dark black space that bubbles up in order to take a look at it, engage with it, eliminate it, or become friends with it. That it's the best time to manifest.
Ooh.
So
okay,
what
really
on
cool.
a really deep level, right, that you have been, hiding, that you really do want.
Yeah, that you need to face.
Right?
Interesting.
And it could
I
be
like
for
that.
ill or for good.
I think that's an awesome energy to come at this with. And what better time frame than the black moon?
Right.
So I love that. So can we move on to Wednesday?
Yep, I got nothing else for that.
Okay. So Wednesday, August 19th, we have Mercury ingress Virgo. Home at last.
Well, Mercury, the god of tricksterships and communication and messages, goes into its sign of Virgo. Remember, Mercury rules 2 signs, Gemini and Virgo. And this happens at 8:30 p.m. And what I love right around this time is Mercury moves into Virgo and hits immediately the royal fixed star Regulus. And I have got a slew of intention bracelets and talismans to make at this time because the sun immediately follows. And it's considered where that Mercury in its own sign, while the sun is in it, would typically be considered combust. Once we get the cazimi, which is right in the center, and then the Mercury moves away and it starts combusting, it gets burned up.
Right.
But it's in its chariot.
Oh, this is
Doesn't that
new.
sound awesome?
Yeah.
Well, who doesn't like mythology?
I don't know.
I mean, I see you. I don't see
I
you
like
raise your
it.
hand.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I remember you studying it in college. But in the chariot, if Apollo is the sun, right, that drives the 4 horses
Right.
every morning, and the planet next to it is not getting burned up because that planet is in its own sign. It's the ruler of the sign. So he's considered in his chariot. So you can picture coming up over the horizon that moment.
It sounds like a battle.
Well, no, it's not a battle. They're running together. Yeah, not a battle.
Okay.
Right? So it's about, kind of home at last, just enough time to repack. Yet you have, no time to relax. That you have this whole bag full of messages that you need to sort, organize, and start your travels again. So it's like, because Mercury is only here for 16 days. Now, remember when Mercury was in the sign of where it retrograded in Cancer, and it was there for like 9 weeks?
Right.
And it's in its own sign for 16 days. I mean, literally, it's only time to, whatever you said, count the beans, get the mail, open it up, see what's here. Let's read. Let's write messages. Let's
And
do the laundry.
get
Let's
back out there.
repack and get back out there. So, because he spent 70 days in Cancer.
That's a big difference.
Big difference.
Right.
So get what you can during this time. And if I said, Wednesday the 19th, can you add 16 days to that?
Me? No.
Okay. Well, let me see if I wrote it down. Well, anyway, I'll head you up when he moves into the next sign, which is Libra.
Okay. Well, Saturday, August 22nd, we have Sun ingress Virgo, and that means happy birthday, Virgos.
Happy. So the sun moves from Leo, where it likes to be in a fixed
fire.
Fixed fire. Thank you. To this Earth. What's my problem? Earth mutable sign. So, it's like the details are on the program. And oh my God, if they're not, oh my gosh, something's askew, right?
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be because Virgos just can get all that stuff
making
done.
sure everything is in outline. So being about, money, banks, how to distribute money. So we'll be seeing what's going on, let's say, in the mundane world around this time about, delivering more checks. If there's more of the unemployment checks or stimulus checks, while, Mercury's home and trying to, sort all the information, which I have something major to say when we get to our house.
Okay.
About Mercury.
All right. Well, we'll keep that in mind. And tell me a little bit about like Virgo, just in general, because if we have some friends' birthdays that are coming up, we can keep an eye out for them.
Well, the Virgo energy is the architects, right? They're the planned, organized, methodical, analytical, that they may have positions in their profession where they can really do that well. And if they don't have a profession, that's fine. But that just means their home is typically very, very neat, organized. Their kitchen, their drawers, their cabinets, they know where everything is.
Good at processes.
Now, yeah, good at processes, and I do know a few Virgos that aren't like that. But it's because they specifically, and I've done their charts, that have other things going on in their chart that just says they know where everything is. It just doesn't look like I know.
It's their orderly. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to talisman times. You have finished up to claim victory. You finished 3 talismans, and this first one was August 11th, to claim victory. Let's breeze through these 3 and we'll get to the upcomings.
I have slayed the dragon. Today is mine.
Yes. I like that one. And that one sold immediately.
We sold that immediately. This is really good for anyone that's going through court legal systems.
Oh, interesting.
Because you get to claim victory. So I really like that one.
Yes. And the same day you made another talisman, to make a positive influence on others.
My ability to reward my people in my tribe comes through me as a noble gesture. I graciously nourish and permit them to grow. Beautiful power for all of us.
Yes.
So, yeah, I really like this one. This is about your tribe, whether you're the boss of employees.
Or even if you show up as a leader.
Yeah, if you're in a group of some sort.
Yeah,
family.
Even when you're just like one of the team, but you show up as that leadership self to help elevate the other members. So Friday, August 14th, to rise to the top through freedom and movement.
I elevate myself higher as I move away from the circumstance at hand. I am the huntress seeking new, honorable territory.
Yeah, that one's so...
That's
like Xena, warrior princess.
Right? Moon conjunct the ascendant, which means the moon is coming up over the horizon on the fixed-door Capella. And this is just really very similar at 22 degrees of Gemini. Very similar to Armistice, the female warrior goddess of the hunt.
Yes.
Right? And actually, this was at 1 o'clock in the morning. And so just as I finished this talisman, I ran up and outside because I knew the moon would be in a place where I could see it. Oh my God.
Did you bring the telescope out?
Well, it was 2 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
So
I was
but I brought my phone, and just as I'm getting ready to snap the picture, at least just on my phone, it dies.
Oh.
So I have it in my head. You want me to draw it for you?
No, we're good. Okay, so let's move on to the upcoming talismans we have this week. We have Thursday, August 20th, to receive recognition.
I am honored, fulfilled, and rich. My mental efforts align with my heart, and this is my way. Thank you.
Yes.
So you're not taking orders from anybody. You are receiving the recognition, and because this is the Regulus. Now, the sun eclipse Regulus every year around this time. Always. It's mark my word, mark your calendar. It's always this time. But Mercury at the same time? No.
That's different?
That's different. And so this is in the morning around 8:41. I'll be making this talisman.
Yeah. And that is powerful when you can really recognize it within yourself and let it shine from there on. You know, kind of that exuding that confidence.
Yeah. And that's what I like. It's like, it's my way. You know, thank you.
There's no right answers here.
Like allowing me to pass or allowing me to go about my way.
Right.
So it's really powerful.
And Friday, August 21st, to strengthen private friendships. And so what are we talking about when we're talking about private friendships?
I announce my relationship of love and companionship into the world. I am proud and in love. Oh, glorious us.
Yeah.
I could just call that, oh, glorious us. Oh, glorious. Maybe I'll change that. I'll see what the energy says when I'm in it. But this, again, is Sun on Regulus. And at the same time, the moon is in Libra in a sextile, which we know is a opportunity, good opportunities and pleasant, to Venus in Cancer. So it's called a mutual reception. Mm-hmm. So mutual reception is when a planet is in a sign, and in aspect, has to be an aspect, is talking to, is being witnessed by another planet that's in that other planet's sign.
Right. So it's basically like a house swap. So when you have like person, let's say you switch places with me, and then you're living where I'm at, but I'm at your house.
Yeah.
And that's the mutual reception.
And it strengthens relationships.
Bonds,
it strengthens connections, because you're seeing how I live, right? You're hearing the birds, or seeing how the light comes in the windows. You're seeing what things I love and around the house. So
cool.
Yeah, I really like this one. This is the last, I will say, sad, but last solar talisman this year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And so let's move on to the last upcoming talisman, and that's Saturday, August 23rd, to strengthen health.
My vitality, will, and durability is strong and powerful. My mind and body responds as well, and I feel good. Sun on Regulus again. This is on Sunday, which is the Sun's day, right?
Right. Sunday.
And this is at Sun's hour, because it's at 6:13 a.m.
So that's the sunrise.
So it's the sunrise, because, there's planetary hours, there's planetary days. And this is a crescent moon in Scorpio, but in the third house of her joy. So this is, we don't talk a lot. I can't find a whole lot of talismans to strengthen health. Mm-hmm. And the last ones I made,
I do get excited when they come around. So and
we sell them so quick.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is up on the website right now, on the pre-sale. Okay. And again, I'll remind you, because this is the last one I want to talk about, because this is the last one of the week. But any pre-sale talismans that we've been putting up on the website, in the last 4 or 5 months, by purchasing in advance, and more than one day in advance, I reach out to you and have you involved in the choosing of color.
And in the whole process, yeah.
And in the meditation time, and in the style.
Oh, okay. Very cool. I mean, that's the closest you get to a personal. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So that's all for our talisman times, but we're going to talk on the horizon now about a talisman. So the Venus and Taurus that I was talking about a little bit earlier, about how I was, talking about striking the match and really being the light that shines into a darker place, or somewhere that's uncharted. This we created back March 2020 when Venus was transiting her favorite sign of Taurus. And so, we talked a little bit about that, but here Venus is dancing, doing her amazing dance in the zodiac, and she's meeting back up with her favorite partner her favorite dance partner who's grounded and stable and knows the steps and, is very, slow but impactful. And so here, what I love about these talismans is that they reflect that. So it's about having that stability with every step and taking pride in the things that we should be proud of. And so we named the affirmation, I take pride in my value and my beauty. And so that's the affirmation for these talismans. And I think it's just so powerful to really have those moments with ourselves and be proud.
And those are up on the website right now. We just got them back from Bali, and it took way longer than normal.
Right.
Because of, they're also in the shutdown. And so they really don't even come into work when somebody comes in, gathers the work, and takes it home. But it's similar to anytime I find a talisman that's worthy of doing something special, like we did the Jupiter and Sagittarius, right? We still have a few of those left. So, Jupiter's not real strong this year in Capricorn. Right. It's in its fall. But when it was in its rulership, Jupiter and Sag, which
he was expanding.
Oh my gosh, he was on
limitless. And that's if you want to check those out, I'll actually include that link for the Jupiter and Sag.
Because we have a few of those left, and Jupiter won't go back into Sagittarius until, it's a 12-year cycle, so that was last year, so 11 more years.
Right, it's going to take a while.
So those will go. And then this Venus, and so looking in advance on, what specialty, because we'll run a specialty bracelet and mala that we do in cooperation with Bali Malas. And looking ahead, the only really beautiful time this whole year was the Venus in Taurus. Now, the Venus in when Venus goes into her other sign of Libra here in a little bit, in a month, she's not good because she's got Mars opposing her in Aries. And she's got that whole Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter in Capricorn, which is squaring Libra. So I am not making any Venus and Libra talismans this year.
Okay. Well, that answers that. So, of course, I'm going to include those links in the On the Horizon section so you can check out the Venus and Taurus Mala bracelets as well as those Jupiter and Sagittarius. So moving on, we have August 19th coming up. This Wednesday, we have our community check-in. And you have heard it here before, but we really encourage you to just join us and just give us a check-in. How are you doing? What's been going on with you? And just listening to other strangers or friends, people that you've met before, about what's going on in their life. And it's a really wonderful, honest conversation. And, we also get to survey, the group to see how we're doing and how we're ebbing and flowing. And I'm not a big data person, but I think those are really interesting because it's so real and you can feel the statistics.
It's changeable. And how each month we're viewing this COVID a little differently.
Right.
And so, of course, that's free. 5:30 that's Chicago time on the 19th.
Yes.
We do it every month.
Yes. And 10 days later, we have the August 29th event. That's where you and Susan are going to be going over the September astrology forecast. That's on Facebook Live. It is 100% free as well, where you can bring your calendar or your iCal and just type or write in all of the dates that Sandy and Susan are talking about. They'll give you some ideas, some practical tips on how to use this, or, just what to watch out for in yourself or around you. Then September 2nd, we have the CWS webinar, the Mars retrograde in Aries. This is going to be a really important one, so you won't want to miss it. Again, link in the description. And October 14th, we have the CWS webinar. This is the blue moon, not the black moon. This is the blue moon that we'll be talking about, which will be really wonderful information about your moon sign. Then that concludes on the horizon for right now. So let's talk about a CWS webinar that we just completed, and that was the Planets in Politics webinar. And this was so interesting. We were a little bit nervous because, we don't normally like to bring in politics into astrology, or just, I guess, in business in general. It's always kind of been a taboo subject, but breaching it and being able to talk about it and really investigate it astrologically is so cool. So you and Susan went over, the convention dates for both Democrat and Republican. You went over the inauguration dates. You went over their personal charts. You went over the, the next 4 years, basically. So really interesting stuff, and I wanted to talk to you more about it. So
should I start talking?
Yes.
Because I might not stop.
Well, we have a few minutes, so give us.
So when we're looking at what do we talk about each month, because we talk about current events, and we looked at the month of August, and we're like, okay, well, that's the conventions. Well, really, okay, so
yes.
And the closer we got, we're like, oh my gosh, this, and we looked at the energies. The energies are so completely different from the first one, which is happening now, and next week's,
right.
And such different energy. So we went in and started looking at the charts. We started looking at the two, Biden versus Trump. We looked at the United States, natal chart, United States natal chart. And things started showing up.
A lot of things. It was such an interesting webinar. I will tell you this, trying to figure out what you and Susan went through to figure out all of these, bullet points in the chart was incredible work. It was a lot of work that you both had to do.
It's like doing a reading, right?
Right.
But we did so many charts.
Right. If I could count, it's at least 10 charts.
And actually it's $20. Is it on the website yet?
It's on the website.
Okay.
Yep.
It's worth the $20 to get a glimpse at what you're going to be watching in real time. Now, I wanted to really talk about this because in doing this, we went from the conventions, the elects, natal charts, what's happening to them. We bullet point it, and then we show the astrology of it. We circle. You spent hours circling them.
I did.
And then we get to election day. And then we get to the inauguration day, right? And then we do a summary. And so when we got to election day and we're looking, we saw this way early. It was like, we have a Mercury retrograde on election day, stationing from retrograde to direct, when the planet in that stationing period where it has to stop to turn the other way. Oh my, and it's from, let's see. Let me see if I even have that. From 7:30, I'm giving Chicago time, 7:37 a.m. to 4:03 p.m. Chicago time. Mercury is standing still.
Wow.
So it seems like nothing.
The messenger is
moving
out. The messenger is not delivering.
Nope. The messenger is taking a nap. And so we have to really think about this.
Right.
Because the Mercury, particularly of these early vote-ins.
Yeah, the mail-in ballots.
First of all, everybody needs to show up. if you have a citizen right, right?
Yeah, we have this luxury. We have this privilege. We have this right.
And so your voice is your, check mark is counted.
Right.
Now, the voter mail-in, right, which is different for every state, you better start looking at your states now and start filling out those applications. Mm-hmm. But here's some ideas. With Mercury retrograde on voter day, it may be where people are like, it's gonna, it's COVID. Oh, right. Like the line will be, 6 feet apart, round and round and round and round.
Yeah, it'll probably be around the block.
And there might be fear around, so many people touching so many things, right? So, we're not surprised that people are asking for their mail-in.
Right. Well, and you also said that there was a Mercury surprise. Speaking of surprises, I just wanted to remind you of that too.
Well, that's my
you're getting to it. Okay, punchline.
Punchline. I'm not through the whole story yet, Alex. Okay. I know you think my stories are too long.
They're interesting.
That's not what you tell me.
They're long, but they're interesting.
I'm a Pisces. Well, so are you.
I know.
Okay. But okay, so now see, I'm off.
Well, we're talking about Mercury and how Mercury, the messenger, and COVID, people voting.
So when we were looking at this, we're saying, okay, Mercury retrograde, stationing straight. I already said that. Mm-hmm. What is not going to be counted right? Will they know it by the end of the day who won? And Susan and I are going, nope, they're not going to. And we look to see the shadow period of the Mercury. Mm-hmm. And we go all the way down to November 19th to 20th. 19th, 20th.
Okay.
What? We're not going to know the shadow. We're not going to know till.
Oh, you mean December?
No, November.
Oh.
19th or 20th. We're going to know who the president is then. And we're like, well, Susan, we can't say that. That's ridiculous. Right?
Interesting if it will.
So, we put here that, I'm looking at the one of the slides now, results not clear until Mercury moves out of the shadow, ? Okay? So, we do this on Wednesday night. On Thursday morning, I get my skimmed, report, and it says starting today, that's what it said on Thursday, the next day.
Right.
The CEO, or I don't know, the in-charge boss of the United States Postal Service has, because the United States Postal Service is in big debt.
Turmoil, yeah.
And they've been in debt for 10 years.
Very long time.
And they're now decided to stop all overtime, to reposition the org chart.
Huh.
And I guess one of the things was stop hiring.
Interesting. In the one time, like during a pandemic where we need shipments happening, where the only way to get information, aside from internet, of course, but physical ballots, physical shipments, physical things to different places, this is the time he's planning on doing this?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's a big, big donor and supporter
of our current
president.
Interesting.
And so it's like, we feel good moves. This is not the time.
This is not the time.
So it's happening.
Yeah.
It's apparently happening. So all of a sudden I call Susan.
Mercury will be taking a nap. Mercury is on the out. Wow.
I called Susan and I said, remember we didn't want to say, mid-November or the 19th or 20th?
So they might be blaming it on this too.
Right?
Well, the
mail's not here.
Right.
We're not getting it. It's not
USPS
moving fast.
isn't moving it fast enough.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah. So all of a sudden it was like, we can't doubt. Again, Susan and I are going, so what why do we put
it or do we not put
right,
it?
Why don't we trust our astrology?
This doesn't make sense.
Why don't we trust it? It doesn't make sense. That's
That's ridiculous.
And so we'll just see.
What if
we'll just see.
Okay.
Because, predictive.
And that's what you got to do.
Yeah, right. It's like, this is a possibility.
Right.
And it's looking more of a possibility.
And you're not going to let your whole entire life be run by an astrology chart. You're moving and you're ebbing with the flows, and they're already there. We're just now talking about them. And it's kind of like, if you're out, and we just had a tornado here, not too long ago. If you're out and, it's very windy, you can't necessarily always feel that until you're right outside. Maybe you can see the evidence on the trees or, around, or hear the sounds. But here, astrology is basically the weather forecast, telling you a little bit about like what to expect. And if it's not rain, it might just be really humid and you're making your own rain happen on your shirt. So
just really interesting information. Let's see how this plays out because, I don't have a crystal ball, but I do have the energy of possibility.
Very cool.
So, the other thing,
right.
Quick, and trust me, I have something else to say, Alex, in case you thought we were done.
Okay.
That if you are getting your ballot, there is a place to not put it in the mailbox and to go to your voting location, and they have a box that you can hand deliver where it does not have to go through the mail. It goes directly into a box at your voting center.
Oh,
yeah.
So you can guarantee that it's there.
Right.
That's
yeah.
really cool.
So it doesn't have to go through this and that hand and that machine and that bag and that messenger.
Sense. That makes so much sense.
Look into that. And if you are going to do in person, see if you can go after the 4:00 period when everything is maybe working, because I would anticipate nothing is working correctly earlier in the day. Mercury retrograde, right?
And when do they end the polls?
It depends where you are. The further you go, I think it ends at like.
But if you're in line, they still take you, right?
I don't know.
I thought that was a thing, but
I
maybe
think it
not.
has. I doubt it because you have to be in and voted, because polls close.
Or maybe they stop the line at a specific time, saying, "Okay, these are the last people."
I've never been there. I've never been the last in the line. So.
Well, we don't want to make everyone too late. If it's
that's true.
Closing.
No, I get what you say.
Right.
But I think in the Western, Hawaii, and we say all that information in the slides. So I really highly, even if you're not political, the people that did attend, I got huge kudos for the amount of work, which is really the amount of work astrologers do. You just got to see it in your face. All the back work or the preparation work. I had a unique perspective. And but go on to intentionbeads.com and find Planets and Politics and buy that for $20. It is really worth it because you're involved here.
It was so good.
You're involved here. You're a United States citizen and you live here. And if you don't care. For those people that are in Africa that follow us, or Germany.
I feel like the U.S. is under a microscope from all around the world. So I think that is the end of our episode. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We absolutely love you. Thank you for your feedback. We love those 5-star reviews on iTunes. So head over there now, search Astrological Intentions, give us one of those reviews. We will see you next week. And of course, let us know if you have questions, feedback. We are here for you. info@intentionbeads.com or my new one, alex@intentionbeads.com. See you next week.
Bye-bye, everybody.
The search ends here, where the